Hello and welcome back to day two of my travel adventure through Prague and the Czech Republic. I am leaving the hotel by the Franz Kafka Head and walking to my next place where I be meeting up with my travel friend Zach, if you remember him from my adventure into Japan. So as I walk over, going to be going over the Charles Bridge pretty soon, and I just needed to take some shots of the streets. Love the streets everywhere you walk around Prague. It looks beautiful. You have these stone streets, these tall, different colored buildings, and they make you feel closed in, but in a warm hug sort of a way. And here I am on the eastern side of the Charles Bridge. That is a statue of St. Wenceslas, patron saint of Czechia, guy from 1,000 years ago. Cool dude. You see a lot of St. Wenceslas and Franz Kafka statues and things everywhere around Czechia and Prague. But here is the Vltava River that the Charles Bridge goes over, and of course, a beautiful shot of the Prague Castle and Cathedral. And there is St. Wenceslas yet again. But I'm going to be walking through the eastern side entry. So many details. And the Charles Bridge, this 700-year-old bridge, started 700 years ago by King Charles. That's why it has the name. It's really beautiful because it's got all these different details. Got this Gothic architecture, these Baroque statues, and the way I would put it is that if you've ever been to any old cathedrals in Europe, Catholic cathedrals, and you get lost in the millions of details, beautiful shots of the river yet again. This is where I did the boat tour the evening before, but you get lost in the millions of details inside a cathedral. This bridge has the details on the outside. And so in advance, it's like, okay, whatever, there's a bridge, old statues. But when you're there, it is impressive. It is really cool. I could not walk this bridge enough. And some of the statues, I believe the darker ones are the original, but some statues have been redone or refurbished. There's one being refurbished right now. And even with the crowds, it is beautiful. But to avoid the crowds, you want to go early as possible. But these statues are of different Catholic saints and events. There's my patron saint. I was born and raised Catholic. That is St. Anthony of Padua. So shout out to St. Anthony. Cool to see him there. And here I'm just walking down to the western end of the Charles Bridge. Again, going to meet up with my friend and going to the next hotel. And I could not get enough of all these views, the red roofs, all the old architecture. It was just absolutely beautiful. So I am obsessed with the Charles Bridge. Anyways, here's all these different shops. You see that tower down the street. We'd be walking that. Here, finally, is some footage of the astronomical clock. We had to walk over to there. And this is the show you get at the top of every hour. Just like that Franz Kafka head that spins from the video before. You have to see it right at the top of the hour. And I don't know why I'm underwhelmed. Maybe it's because of how spoiled I am in the 21st century. But this is all that the show is. The window opens, and I don't know if it's apostles, saints, whatever, they rotate through. So that's cool. And you also have these bells chiming and ringing as part of the music in the background. So it was cool. You do have to check out the astronomical clock on the top of every hour. And here we walked over to the narrowest street in Prague. I was happy that I was able to fit through the street, and in a moment you'll see the new travel look I'm rocking. Got the mustache. There's Zach, shaved off the mustache already, but had to walk the narrowest street in Prague. Cool little side adventure, and at the bottom of the street there is a restaurant. There's ducks looking for snacks, and we of course got a beer. Welcome, Zach, to Prague. And that amount of foam, again, it is normal. These Pilsners are delicious. There's an outside shot of the Charles Bridge, but my boat tour the evening before, it went right past that little restaurant. After that, we walked over to the Lenin Wall. People in Central and Eastern Europe have a deep found historic hatred for the USSR, communism. And so some local graffiti artists, if you will, they put up a lot of different things about, that guy didn't like Putin there. But before the tower that I showed you on the street view, we walked to the top. Beautiful view of Prague. If you get the chance to walk to the top of any church or tower, you got to do it. And then we went to a beer hall, got some, again, more classic Pilsners. I lost count of how many I drank, but you don't feel too bad after drinking them. Drinking in Europe is a lot different than drinking in America. They don't pack everything with alcohol. But we met up with an old friend of mine that I met on an earlier travel adventure, got some green Zelena shots, a minty schnapps, nothing too crazy or bad. And walking back at night, went across the Vltava River, also beautiful at night. Had to check out the clock yet again because we were close to seeing it, I think, turn at around midnight. That bottom wheel, by the way, features each day, each new day, it features a different saint or so. And here we are walking across the bridge at night. So anyways, join me tomorrow or for the next video for day 3 of Prague when we see the Prague Castle.